Every single great innovation, every game changing product, it all starts as just a simple idea. But let's be honest, having ideas isn't the hard part. The real challenge, the thing that separates success from failure, is the journey from that initial spark to actually creating something that has a real, tangible impact. So today, we're going to break down a super practical framework to do just that. Okay, let's dive right in. So picture this. You've just wrapped up an amazing brainstorming session. The energy in the room is electric. The walls are covered in sticky notes. You've got literally hundreds of potential ideas. But this is exactly where things can grind to a halt, right? It feels completely overwhelming. You're left standing there thinking, okay, now what? And hey, 500 isn't just some made-up number. This is real. In a workshop with the company Marico, they actually generated over 500 ideas. That kind of volume, it's just paralyzing. So the big question is, how on earth do you find the hidden gems in that mountain of possibilities? Well, the very first step is all about filtering. You have to have a system to separate the truly promising signals from all that noise. And this isn't about just picking what feels right or going with your gut. It's about using a disciplined, structured approach to figure out which ideas are really worth pursuing. It all starts with the human element, desirability. And look, this goes so much deeper than just asking your customers what they want. It's about uncovering those unstated needs, the things they can't even articulate themselves. And notice that word, human, not just customer, because a truly great idea has to be desirable for everyone involved, your team, your partners, and yeah, your end users too. Okay, next up is feasibility. This is the big reality check. Can we actually build this thing? Do we have the right skills on our team? Do we have the technology? Do we have the resources to pull it off without it taking a decade and costing a fortune? It's where the rubber meets the road. And finally, we have viability. This is the crucial business question. Sure, people might want it and maybe we can build it, but can it actually make money or at least sustain itself? Think about all those quick commerce apps that promise 10-minute delivery. Super desirable, totally feasible, but so many of them were just burning through cash because they weren't financially viable. A winning idea has to hit that sweet spot right in the middle of all three. Another fantastic tool to help with this is the Impact Time Matrix. It helps you build a really balanced portfolio. See, down in the bottom left, you've got starters. These are low impact but super fast to get done. They're perfect for building momentum, for getting those quick wins. Then, top left, you have your stars. These are your high-impact game changers you can launch pretty quickly. Pipeline projects, top right, those are your big long-term bets on the future. And pipe dreams, well, they're low impact and they take forever, so you can probably just gently set those aside. And this really is the key takeaway here. The goal is not to find one single perfect silver bullet idea that solves everything. A truly innovative organization has a healthy mix of projects, some that deliver value right now and others that are paving the way for the future. It's all about that balance. All right, so you've filtered your ideas down and you've picked a few really promising ones. So what's next? You don't just jump straight into building the final polished product. No way. You test it. You make it tangible. It's time to talk about the incredible power of prototyping. I absolutely love this quote because it is so, so true. You can talk about an idea for weeks, you can spin your wheels in meeting after meeting, but the second you try to build even a simple, cheap version of it, you start learning at a pace that is just staggering. And effective prototyping really comes down to a few simple rules. First, do the last experiment first. That means testing your biggest, riskiest assumption right away, because if that fails, the whole idea is toast. Second, maximize your learning per dollar. The goal isn't a perfect product, it's getting knowledge fast. Third, keep it quick and dirty. Use paper, cardboard, Legos, whatever you've got. And finally, my favorite, fail faster to succeed sooner. Every failure isn't an ending. It's just data that gets you one step closer to success. Let me give you a classic example. When the very first ATM was being developed, sure, the engineering was a challenge, but that wasn't actually the biggest hurdle. The team knew deep down that their single biggest risk was something else entirely. It was a human question, a question of trust. Think about it. Back in the 1960s, would an ordinary person actually feel safe putting a plastic card into a hole in a wall and expecting real cash to come out? That was the absolute make or break assumption for the entire project. So what did they do? You guessed it, they did the last experiment first. They built a fake wall, stuck a person inside, and had them manually pass cash through the slot whenever someone used it. They didn't test the technology at all. They tested the core human behavior. It's just a brilliant, brilliant example of how to prototype the smart way. Now, what's really cool is that prototyping isn't just for physical products. For services, you can use things like storyboards to visually map out a customer's journey. You could even use role-playing or skits to act out a new service interaction. The tools might be different, but that core principle of making an idea tangible and testable, it's exactly the same. Look, having a successful prototype is a huge milestone, but an idea that stays a prototype is really just a hobby. True innovation, real impact, happens when you figure out how to scale your solution and deliver it to the world. So let's talk about how you turn that promising prototype into a real business. One of the best tools for this is the Business Model Canvas. Think of it like a one-page strategic plan that puts your entire business on a single sheet of paper. It forces you to answer these critical questions, not just who your customers are and what you're offering them, but how you'll actually reach them, what key resources you'll need, and the big one, how will this thing actually make money? It's what turns your prototype from just a product into a whole business system. And to manage all that growth, you need to be disciplined. A fantastic framework for this is OKRs, objectives and key results. It's really simple. Your objective is your big inspirational goal, the what, something like launch our new service in New York. Then your key results are the measurable outcomes that prove you actually did it, the how. For example, achieve 1,000 active users and reach a 9 out of 10 customer satisfaction score. It's all about moving from vague plans to concrete progress you can actually track. Okay, so everything we've talked about so far, filtering ideas, prototyping, scaling them up, it doesn't just apply to launching a product or a business. It can be applied to the single most important project you will ever work on, your own life. Just think about that for a second. You are in charge. You're the CEO. You have to own your career, your personal growth, your entire journey. No one else is going to do it for you. This whole framework, it's a way of thinking you can use to intentionally design the life and career you actually want. We've all been there. You apply for that dream job or you pitch an idea you love and you get rejected. It feels personal, it stings. But what if you started treating it like a failed prototype? It's not a final verdict on who you are or what you're worth. It's just feedback. It's data. It's a signpost telling you what to try differently next time. And as we look at the future, with things like AI changing so much, it's easy to be afraid. But try to see technology as a tool that can augment your abilities, not replace them. It can handle the complex, repetitive stuff, and that actually frees you and me up to focus on the things that are uniquely human: creativity, empathy, connection. So, at the end of the day, remember this. Your life is the ultimate innovation project. You are constantly iterating, learning, and growing. So the only question left to ask is, what's the next small experiment you can run to move yourself forward? What will you prototype next?